everyone. What's this? Look at my jazz hands. So this video is going to be all about how to sell your stuff on eBay. So if you guys happen to be like me, you probably have like tons of stuff laying in your closet that you really don't use anymore. Think of it this way. You have money basically stored away in your closet, on your shelves. It's just hanging there. So I've been selling stuff on eBay for a couple of years now, and it's a nice way to go ahead and make some extra cash. There are a few tips and tricks to the trade, so I just wanted to make this video to share all that with you, so you too can go ahead and start making some money by selling things on eBay or other sites like that. So let me go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you're going to need is an item that you want to sell. So I have two things to show you here just as examples. So one, I have this little Coach wristlet. It's so nice. You want? Yes. So anyways, I have this little Coach wristlet, and then I have these pageant shoes that I had for like a while. The first thing that you want to do is to find an item that you would like to sell. Now, usually the brands that sell the best are, brands that you guys would probably want. So if it's like Coach, Guess, BB, North Face, it's like the bigger brands, they sell a lot faster, a lot better than something, let's say if you get like Forever 21 clothes or something like from Target, like those things, they just don't move as quickly, and also you're not going to be making a lot of money off that. So basically, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is name brands, they hold their value a lot more than things that are like cheaper. So the first thing that you want to do is to go ahead and locate an item and just take a look at it. Just kind of scan it, make sure everything works. So for this wristlet, I would want to make sure that all the buttons work. If it has any zippers, make sure the zippers work. See if it has any kind of stains. Is it missing anything? So just take a look at your item and just kind of assess what condition it's in. Now, there's a few different categories for like the condition of the item. So there's something called like new with tags. That means you pretty much have a brand new item and it still has the tags attached to it. Now, this doesn't mean that you went ahead and you wore an item, you cut the tag off, or some people like to tuck the tag away. I've been guilty of doing this, okay, just saying. Anyways, it doesn't mean that you've worn like the item with the tag hidden or you're reattaching the tag and now it's brand new. So this is something that is actually new. Let's say maybe like you got a gift from somebody and you're like, I don't really want this, or you bought something, you just haven't used it, maybe you got the wrong size, so now you're selling it. So it's actually a new item. Another category is new without tags. So let's say, for example, I got this item, I don't have a tag for it, but it's brand new, I've never used it. Or, like how guys like to get clothes, like so many guys that I know go ahead, they buy a new like shirt, let's say, they rip off the tag and then they try it on for the first time and they're like, oh, it's like totally too small. So okay, that's still like a new shirt, it just doesn't have a tag on it. So that would fall into the category new without tags. And the other category, of course, is something that is used. So it's an item that you've already used, could have been once, twice, 3 times, or maybe you've been using it for years. So most of the items that you probably have will fall under the used category. So what you want to do is be a responsible seller. When you are selling an item that is used, you want to make sure that you provide your seller with the most accurate description as possible and with as many pictures as you possibly can with different angles. Make sure the lighting is good so that way the seller can really see what it is they're buying. You don't want to be a buyer that's like sneaky. Like for example, I'm going to show you these shoes. From far away, they look really great, right? But if you look really close, they're missing like a whole entire line of like studs and beads, and it's just like, like the studs are off like all over the place. On the bottom, like the shoes are like really, really worn. I mean, this isn't like bad to the point where like I couldn't sell it. It's, like a regular wear and tear type of deal going on over here. Let's say if you have an item where like the zippers are not working or the button's off, it doesn't mean that you can't sell it. I mean, you can literally sell anything you want. You just have to keep in mind, if you have something that's kind of like busted up and broken, make sure you tell the seller about that. Also, keep that in mind when you set your prices. Obviously, if it's missing stuff, you definitely want to set your price a lot lower than the item. Oh my God, the doggy is eating my shoe. No. She was like, what? She was like snipping on my shoe over here. And go ahead and take a couple different pictures. So if I'm taking pictures of this little wristlet, I'll go ahead and lay it flat on a surface. Just go ahead and take a picture like this. I'll probably take one on the side. I'll want to take a picture of the Coach tag that's upside down, but yeah, whatever. So take a picture of this like little Coach tag. Oh my God, hair clip. You know what? I was actually looking for one of these earlier today because I wanted to do a hair poof thing. Okay, anyways, ADD coming in. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll take a picture with the flap open right over here. You can kind of zoom in, show them the color. And then you'll want to go ahead and take a picture of the inside. What is in here? Anyway, anyways, I have the inside compartments and just like, you know, any kind of feature that it has. Also, a lot of times sellers like to know how big, like what the dimensions are. So what I like to do is get a tape measure and lay it across right next to the item that you're selling. That way they can see, okay, this item is like what, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 inches long, maybe 4 inches wide. Sometimes I'll go ahead and get a picture of myself like holding it so they can get like an idea of what it will look like on an actual person. Another thing that I like to do is I go on the internet, go under Google Images and type in the item that you have. See if there's actually like a stock photo from the manufacturer of the item. Those are always like the nicest. They're so clear. The pixelation, is that a word, pixel? Like it's well pixelated, you know, good quality. So go ahead and download that picture and then use it on like your eBay thing. So, I mean, that's something I like to do. I don't know if that's like allowed or not allowed. I see a lot of people doing it. I've never been flagged for it. So just in the event that it's not allowed, I didn't tell you about it. I didn't say it. But it's been working for me. So, hey, okay. All right, so another thing to keep in mind while you're selling items on eBay is that you are going to have to physically ship this item to your seller. So you want to consider your geographic location. Where are you going to ship to? I'm here in the United States. Now, usually I don't ship abroad. I don't like to mess with international shipping just because it can get really expensive depending on, where it is it's going. So I just ship to the US. That's what I like to stick to. Of course, if you want, you can ship internationally. You just have to consider that cost when you do it. Another thing you want to consider is your handling cost. Handling is me literally taking the item. I have to wrap it. I have to go ahead, address it. I have to drive it over to the post office, UPS store, FedEx, whatever it is I'm going, and I have to ship it. And you're going to, of course, have to pay for shipping costs. Now, a lot of times what you can do to basically go ahead and increase exposure and kind of interest your buyers more is to go ahead and include free shipping. Now, obviously what you will do is you'll go ahead and adjust the price of your item to reflect the free shipping. So I need to consider the shipping cost when I price my item. So let's say my bottom line cost is I want to get at least $70 for this purse. Now, like, my cost is going to be $80. So my personal general rule of thumb when I sell stuff on eBay is if it's used, usually I mark it about 50% to 30% off of the actual cost of what it would have been retail. So for example, if my purse would have cost $100 retail, about $50 is like where I would start off. If the condition of it is like pristine, I'll go ahead and I'll try to get a little bit more money off of that. Like sometimes you'll see people trying to sell things on eBay and like brand new, the item maybe costs like, let's say $80 and they're trying to get $70 for it. And like you can obviously see signs of wear and tear. Items like that are not going to move. People on eBay like to get a good deal. For me as a buyer, let's say I'm buying something, I would rather pay that extra $10, $20, go to the store and know that I'm getting a brand new item. So like when you're getting something used, you never know where it's been, what's happened to it. So you're trying to get value from that, from that unknown. So be a good seller. Make sure that you price your item accordingly so that way you can attract buyers. So I'm going to kind of try to show you guys how to navigate the pages on eBay. I'm sure there's other videos that are much better at this, but I'm just going to give you the basics. Of course, you'll want to go ahead and create an eBay account. So you'll get to pick a username and a password. Pick something that you like that you're going to remember. The username is what other eBay customers are going to see you as. So once you've done that, what you can do is you can go ahead, this laptop is so heavy, you can go ahead and you can start selling stuff. So the sell button is right up here in the corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and navigate myself over there. Come on. All right, so over here, it'll ask you basically to go ahead and describe the item that you are selling. So let's say Coach wristlet. All right, so now that I went ahead and I searched, the categories are going to pop up. So as you can see, there's a few categories here. I hope you guys can see. If you can, I'm really sorry. And I'll probably just edit this out. But anyway, so we have women's handbags, purses, women's accessories, wallets, women's handbags, blah, blah, blah. So you can pick more than one category. However, they will charge you if you pick more than one. They'll charge you extra. So I'm just going to go ahead with the first one. I'm just going to click on women's handbags and purses. So that's pretty legit. All right, so once you go ahead and you select your category, it's going to bring you to the page where basically you will be creating the body of your listing. So over here, we can see we have a title. It costs extra if you want to add a subtitle. I never ever do this, so I just stick with the title. And then basically it'll let you select your condition over here. So for title, we basically want to create something that's really catchy and kind of provides the most description in the title. So for the next thing under item condition, this is a box that you'll be using for used items to describe the condition of them. So over here, Our Coach wristlet is in perfect condition. Like, I don't have a single defect on here. It looks literally brand new. So for this, I would go ahead and describe it as like new, almost brand new condition, pristine, mint condition, something like that, to really allure the buyer and let them know that they're going to be getting an item that is in top-notch shape. You know, it's not beat up, it doesn't have any scratches, scuffs, anything like that. So let's say we can flip the table and I was kind of selling, you know, these shoes over here. I would want to go ahead and list average wear and tear on the bottom of the sole. Put as seen in picture, a couple of the stones are missing from the inner portion of the upper sole or something like that. So you just kind of want to go ahead, locate where the defect is and let them know what the defect is. It's always good to take a picture of it. That way you can say, go ahead and refer to the picture. That way you can see what I'm talking about. So over here we can see there's a couple of little areas that you can fill out for, like the style of the wristlet, the height, dimensions, material it's made out of, things like that. Always make sure, guys, that you fill this out because it's going to help when the seller is searching for an item. The more information that you provide, the greater your exposure is going to be. So really make sure that you spend some time and list your item accordingly. So once we scroll down over here, we can go ahead and add some photos. So what you want to do is on your cell phone or a camera, go ahead and, like I said, take multiple shots. eBay will let you load 12 pictures for free. So definitely use that up. So the next thing is a little box for you to go ahead and describe your item. So in this little box, I like to basically go ahead and provide as much description as possible to the seller. So I'll say something like, up for sale is a brand new like Coach wristlet, and I'll go ahead and feature like everything it has. So I'll say made with leather, has attached wristlet strap that does come off, has like matching keychain, inside a bag fastens closed with like a snap. Inside a purse is lined with pink fabric. If you happen to know what kind of fabric it is, always list that. List the dimensions of the bag. Say if it's coming from a smoke-free or a pet-free home. A lot of times that does help sellers who might have allergies. People want to know the history of this item. They want to know, like, okay, where it's been, how many times did you use it? Like, did you drop it in dog poop? Like, okay, so I mean, obviously, you kind of see where I'm going with that. You want to let them know, like, this is where it's been. It's been hanging in my closet maybe for the last year, or I'm selling this because I lost a lot of weight and I can't fit into these clothes, or I outgrew them. Or if you're selling your kids stuff, my kids have outgrown these clothes. They're almost in brand new condition. I'm selling them to you. Or here's the condition that they're in. Whatever it is, just be honest about it. It's better that you're honest up front rather than you're dealing with eBay customer service people trying to like make claims on you. And what really sucks is when somebody makes a claim, they can withhold your money that you made. So like the money that you made on PayPal, for example, they can hold that. So there's a few different ways that you can go ahead and sell stuff on eBay. You can sell it in an auction. So basically that's where you pick a starting price, you pick a couple of days. So let's say if you want to run it for 2 days, 5 days, 7, 10 days, you pick how long you want to run your auction for, and basically you just hope people will start bidding on your item and it will be sold to the highest bidder. All right, so you'll see over here, it'll say starting price. So over here, what you can do is you can put either $0, and this will mean that the auction will start at 0. This usually really attracts buyers. You can always set a reserve. Basically, a reserve is a cost that you will not accept anything lower than that. So let's say I start the little auction at 0 and I set my reserve to $50. So if let's say the highest bidder is like $40, it won't be sold because they didn't meet my reserve. My reserve is $50. They need to exceed $50 in order to be able to purchase the item. Usually what works best for me is go ahead and just start your price. So starting price, just start it at like your reserve. So if my reserve is 50, I'm gonna start it at 50 and just hope that I'll be able to get more. The risk that you do run with this is the item just doesn't like generate that like really fast appeal of like, you know how sometimes people are like, ooh, it's really cheap, I'm gonna start bidding on it. And then they get into it. It's like almost like you're feeding an addiction. Like you're hoping that people will start like bidding, and then like somebody will outbid them and they'll be like, oh no, you outbid me, I'm gonna bid more. Sometimes that happens. Like I'm bidding on an item that like I want but I don't want it that bad, and I see somebody outbid me and I'm like, oh no, you outbid me. And like you try to go up. So that's where like starting at 0 can really help you with 0 reserve. Now another thing, zoom in with my computer here. Another box that you'll see over here, it'll say buy it now. So basically what buy it now means is instead of going through an auction, the buyer can just go ahead and pay the sum that you decide to sell the item for. So let's say I start my listing off at $50, or I write buy it now for $99.99. So if somebody really wants it, they don't want to wait, let's say the listing is 4 days or 5 days, so they can go ahead, hit buy it now, and the auction will basically be ended. They'll go ahead and have the item sold to them. So moving along, along, the next thing is duration. So right over here, it's set at 7 days. Now, the thing with the listing that is 7 days long, there's pros and cons to it. A pro is you'll go ahead and have a longer period of exposure, a longer time that you can go ahead and let, like, you know, bidders start bidding on the item. A con is sometimes people like want to get the item faster, and they know like towards the end of the auction, that's when a lot of people will start jumping in and bidding. That's how I always buy stuff on eBay. If I find something I really like, I don't bid on it until the last few minutes of the auction. Literally, sometimes it's the last few seconds. Then I'll go ahead and I'll jump in, I'll place my bid, because I don't want people to have that opportunity to be like, oh my God, somebody outbid me. Let me think about how bad I want this item. And it's just, you know, human psychology. When somebody wants the same thing that you want, you're like, no, I want to have it. So it gives people opportunity to go ahead and start like bidding more. So I like to wait until the last few seconds, then bam, I hit them with my bid, cross my fingers, hope I get it. So sometimes it's better just to have a shorter listing. That way you can kind of jump the gun, get to the point, get it over with. So it's up to you however long you want to go ahead and list your item for. The next thing is your payment. I'm just blocking off my email address. I always use PayPal. So if you are selling anything on eBay, definitely make sure that you set up a PayPal account. It just provides a certain level of protection to you, and it's a quick and easy way for your buyers to pay for their items that they buy from you. So if you don't have a PayPal, just go ahead. I'll include a link to it down below. Go ahead and create a PayPal account. Also, if you are ever like shopping for other things online, a lot of people take PayPal. You can flow the funds from whatever you make on PayPal directly to your bank account. That's how it's linked together. So things like that, just, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. Now, if you're a younger girl and you're like, well, I don't have a bank account, I don't have any of that, you need to talk to your parents and let them know, hey, I'm going to be selling some stuff on eBay. Of course, you want to make sure it's okay with your parents. I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning of the video. But if you are a younger girl or younger guy, whoever it is that's watching this video, talk to your parents, let them know, hey, listen, I want to make some extra money this summer. Is it okay if I go ahead and set up a PayPal account through your bank account and you'll just pay me the money when it comes in? So hopefully they'll be able to help you out with that. So basically, that's how you're going to go ahead and set up your listing. Now, if your item doesn't sell, you do have an option of relisting it. It's so easy. You just click a button, hit OK, and it'll relist the item for you for however many days that you select to do it. If this happens, you might want to consider maybe lowering your cost, your asking price, or possibly including free shipping just to make it, you know, a little bit more appealing to your buyers. Also, this eBay account is going to be hooked up to an email address. Make sure that you use an email address that you check every single day, because a lot of times buyers will ask you questions. This is why it's so important to provide a very, very good description, because if you don't have anything listed, like the size, the origin of the item, material, whatever it is, they're going to be asking you questions. You're going to have your box flooded with a ton of questions. Save yourself a headache and just include that in your description. If a buyer does ask you a question, make sure that you provide a fast response. Answer them back as quickly as possible, because the worst thing that you can do is take forever to answer back and then they just lose interest, or they go ahead and they bid on another item. When your items do sell on eBay, make sure that you go ahead and you ship them out as soon as possible. Don't wait several days and then go ship, because sometimes it can take a while to get to your buyer. So make sure that you're prompt on this. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to go ahead and buy like a bunch of shipping envelopes, some packing tape, or any kind of packing supplies to basically go ahead. I have that like at home on hand. I can just go ahead, wrap it up, and then ship it to the buyer. If you have a printer at home, which I don't, I know like I'm probably the only person in the world that doesn't have a printer, you can just go ahead and print out your packing slips, and then you can slap it on your package. You know, you can even arrange for the post office to come to your house and pick up your packages. I'm like kind of old school. I just go and I ship everything. So it's up to you how you want to do. Another thing that you guys want to make sure to do is to provide tracking to your buyers. Now, the post office used to make you pay like 75 cents extra for a tracking number. I believe now their new policy is they just include it. So check where you're shipping from. Make sure they have some way of tracking their package. That way they can go ahead and be like, oh, okay, here, you know, there's where it is. It'll be at my house in like 2 days. It just gives them peace of mind. Lastly, one thing that you should know about eBay before you sell on it, they do charge you for using their service, just like, you know, any other service would. They're basically giving you exposure to people all over the world to see your item and sell it. For that, they do charge 10%. I know it kind of sucks, like especially if you have items that are more expensive. Let's say you sell something that's $100, they're going to take $10 for it. Also, when you use PayPal, they do charge a small fee on that too, so just keep that in mind. The last thing I wanted to mention is if you are contacted through eBay by a buyer who's, let's say, trying to haggle you on an item, and they're like, okay, well, how about this? I'll send you money like to your PayPal. That way like you don't have to pay the listing fees, and you know, we can go ahead, maybe you can lower the price for me, I'll help you, you help me. Be very careful with that, because if you do make a deal like that, you are not protected by eBay anymore. There's a lot of scams going on, you know, like I've been contacted by people, they're like, hey, I'm located like in this other country, and what I will do is, if it's okay, I will send you like $100 extra for your item if you can ship it to this other country. Stay away from stuff like that. If people are trying to like, you know, maneuver and do like all these weird things, red flag, just be very cautious. There's tons of scammers out there on the internet. They thrive off of people who are selling items. They try to like scam you. I've never actually, you know, gone through with that. Whenever I get emails, messages like that, I just delete them. Don't pay attention to that. If you're selling it on eBay, you want that protection available. Only sell under the listing. So I hope you guys found this video informative. I hope I packed it in with a lot of good information for you. I love selling stuff on eBay. Like, I love to declutter, and the way I look in my closet, I open it up and I'm like, I just see like money sitting there, hanging there. So do that. Go to your closet, take a big bag, put in all the stuff that you haven't used, you haven't worn. My general rule of thumb is if you haven't used it in the last year, year and a half, most likely it's time for you to go ahead and part with it. Don't be a hoarder. Go ahead and let somebody else enjoy the product while you can go ahead and enjoy the money that you get from it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. I do post new videos every single week. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.